I'm just glad I'm here today because we had a massive order going out of the office 2 days ago. And we're designing cushions, and as Ryan said, he's doing fashion, which is, I think, much more complex. We're doing cushions, which are square, but it's still a lot of work. We have to fill them over duck feather inners, so my intern helped, my assistant helped, and I apologized to my intern saying, really, really sorry, we have to fill these, I think, 400 cushions. She's like, you know what, it's no problem at all, because whilst I'm doing it, I can think about my own things. I can think about how I'm going to set up my accessory business. From in your studio, it gives me the inspiration to think, and I was so grateful because I could see that she's using even times which are not hyperly interesting to do really great things and push herself forward. So I was really, really impressed because I think every experience is really valuable. I think, as I said, everything you've done, or everything you are doing really, really matters, and I think feeds into the life map and, contributes to every step. I've learned from observing people. I've learned from observing, my editors, observing PRs, observing people I've worked with. I'm also observing my interns, and I think I'm even now assistants. I'm even learning from them now because I see how do they handle that. How do they approach things, and I think even in the position where I'm now, I can still learn from that. Yes, sometimes it's scary. Absolutely, I'm not, pretending it's not. It's very scary. I remember having experience one of my first TV jobs. I think it was in 2001. I was sent to Paris to do an interview with, was it Mojo? I think it was Mojo. And everything was disastrous. I arrived in Paris. The Eurostar was delayed for 4 or 6 hours. They were stuck on that train. They were heavy smokers. They couldn't smoke. So the agent called me and said, this interview is cancelled. We cannot do it. We have to postpone it by a month. And I knew we couldn't postpone this interview. We had to do it on that day. So I was talking to her. By the time they arrived in Paris, I stood at the Eurostar terminal. I think I had a lighter in my hand. I said, let me light your cigarette. I brought them drinks, and we chatted, and I managed to get them to the interview location. I think we had a 3-hour interview. We had so much fun, and I was scared, but sometimes you have to really overcome situations, make the best out of it. Something much nearer to our last May 2012, I was very short notice invited to a really big trade show in the States called ICFF, which is the International Contemporary Furniture Fair. It's a big, big trade show for the US market. I went out there by myself. They called me up, I think, 2-3 weeks before, so I couldn't get all my stuff shipped over. So I had to take everything on the plane. There was little Eva with, I think, 5 or 6 massive, heavy suitcases with everything, my whole stage stand design, my drill, going to New York, setting up there with, I think, in my opinion, some of the best designers in the world. And, I was in the same room than everybody's, which was quite scary. I managed to do it. So I don't think it matters where you are in your career, wherever you are. You always have to overcome obstacles and deal with situations. I'm still facing it. I'm sure I will still face it in the future. And it's part of it. I assume that most of you are at the beginning of your career. And it's tricky because at the moment it's very, very tough out there. It's not the same way it was 10, 15 years ago, where it was tough as well. But I think it's much tougher at the moment. But I still think if you see that where the world is your oyster, you can do a lot. You have a lot of opportunities on putting your work, especially if you're working creatively, out there and reach millions of people if you want to. You have to work, I think, at least twice, if not 3 times as hard. You have to be better than the average. You have to be determined. You have to be focused. And I think the philosophy I have is to do everything to the very best of your abilities, all the time, every day, even if no one is watching you, do it as good as you can, because that really defines your character. And I think in business, and in the creative business, I think character is really, really important. I talked about that, sorry. Be open about your path. As I said, a dull job or a dull internship or a dull position can, be transformed into something really interesting, and you can use every experience later on in life when it comes in. One other thing I want to definitely tell you, don't be fooled by dream jobs. Because if I look at my career and if I look at my jobs I had in the past, there are lots of dream jobs in there. I was a TV producer, I traveled internationally, I was 1 week in New York, I was in London, and I went to Paris, I interviewed people, I had access to all areas. Then afterwards I was at Elle and Germany, I sat literally raw behind Anna Wintour at Burberry's, at Tom Ford. I had a great career. Don't be fooled by it. It sounds great, it sounds glamorous, as I think Ryan said earlier. It's really, really hard work. You have to work hard, extremely long hours. I mean, when I was working in TV, I don't think I had a life. I was just working, to be honest with you. You work long hours, you work weekends, you spend nights in hotel rooms all across the world, which is in the beginning amazing. But after some time, you realize you miss your friends, you want to really be at home. This is all a price to pay. It's tough, but it's a great experience, and I learned so much from it. Working as a fashion editor, again, incredibly long hours. It was hard. I mean, you deal with people who sometimes are really horrible. I spoke to Denise this morning. I was talking about one of my editors, and I have to always say that Anna Wintour is the loveliest, nicest lady compared to her. She was horrible. She was shouting us, or not even, she was sometimes even, she threw a pair of chibi shoes at my kind of colleague's face. That's what you face on a daily basis. It is really, really hard. But I'm still glad I did it, because I think I learned so much from everything I've done. So the last 20 years, my experience, my career really shaped me into the woman I'm today. I wouldn't be able to run Eva Sonaike, my business, without all the experience I had. And I'm really excited about the future, and I'm excited what the future will hold, and hope to move on. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 or 10 years. I hope that I will still do what I'm doing now to bigger extent, but I never know. I love it, and I'm glad that I experienced everything and used it to its maximum potential.
Has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask Eva about her career and her way into the creative industries?
Hi, I noticed you use a lot of like you said about your Nigerian background, a lot of those designs in your work. Do you have a big, strong link to ethical designing, where you're getting your products from, where your fabric's coming from, are you using?
I'm designing the fabrics myself.
Yes, so you design them yourself?
I'm designing the fabrics
Fantastic.
myself. Yeah, they're all my own designs. It's really difficult, because I would love to produce in Africa. I would love to work more within Nigeria specifically. At the moment, it's really difficult because of logistics, first of all, quality control, because I'm based in the UK, so it's at the moment not possible. But we're working on projects within Nigeria in order just to give back to the community where we're coming from.
I just wondered whether you were looking to collaborate in that way to bring a bit of your home life back into the
not
industry.
In terms of fabrics, I wouldn't, because they are not really suitable for interiors. In the beginning, I worked with the wax fabrics from Nigeria, but I had to move on because I had to change the quality of my fabrics.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? There's a lady there in the middle.
Hi, earlier you were talking about pictures. I know you've obviously got background experience, and you were saying that was part of your market research job. Do you find that you've had to go and pitch more, or do you find people actually come to you a lot? Or is it a mixture?
I think it's a mixture. I think I will have to pitch more, because obviously I want to increase business, and not everyone knows about me. I think it's a mixture. People come to you and out of the blue. Some of my biggest clients found me, but I also go out and pitch to people a lot, from small boutiques to big department stores, try to get appointments and pitch. So I think it's a mixture, but I think in the long run I want to obviously be able to reach more people, which means I have to get out there more and pitch more.
Related to that then, have you got any key tips for pitches?
Very, very, very difficult one. Be sure that you know your business, that you know your brand, that your brand is strong. Find the right retailers. I think you have to be quite clear and who works for you, who doesn't work for you. And don't give up. It's hard, because you have to continue knocking on doors. I mean, I was in Selfridges, I was in Liberty. I haven't seen Selfridges this season. I want to get back in there, so I have to try my ways in. And don't be put off by no, because I think someone may say no and another door may open somewhere else, and it may be a better opportunity. But it's a long, hard, windy road.
Thanks.
Sorry, Eva, can I ask you, how did you get the deal with Liberties? Because that's a very, very big deal. How did that come about?
I had an agent. In the beginning, I worked with an agent. They found me, which was quite unusual. They found
amazing.
me in my factory. When I was in the factory getting cushions made somewhere in East London, an agent worked with the factory with another of their clients, and they found my stuff, and I thought it was really good. And they said, let's try it. And they sold to Liberty, Selfridges, Phoenix, and it's a lot
Amazing.
of boutiques in a really short while. So
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, but I'm not working with them anymore, so we're doing it in-house now.
Right.
Which is
okay.
actually, I think it's better because I have more control of, what I do, where we go, and who we.
Okay, good stuff. Any other questions? Or? No? Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Eva. Thanks very much for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
That was brilliant.
Thank you very much.